Are you exhausted from chasing new leads on Instagram and TikTok, but at the same time your referrals has slowed down? In today's video, we're going to be talking about 3 different ways to retain clients so that way you don't have to spend more time and money marketing yourself online with a bunch of content that you probably don't want to create anyway. So, a little backstory about myself. My name is Amanda. I have been a freelance social media marketer for 5 years, since 2020. And I've seen a lot of patterns throughout these 5 years. I think there's people that they reach a big success overnight, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish that was me. But at the same time, I notice there's huge burnout. And then the other side of it is I see a lot of people struggling to even make freelance or creative entrepreneur success. And so that's why I wanted to make this video. But yeah, I think that marketing, that's like it is like a huge buzzword, but I think there's some other things that people are not focusing on, which is client retention, onboarding, customer service. I think those things are equally as important, if not more. And so today I wanted to talk about that, and I'm looking down because I have some notes written down on my laptop. So if you see me looking, that's probably why. But I think overall, once you fix the client flow, you get referrals, you start getting that retention of people coming back to you, it's extremely important. So number one, the first thing that I would say I notice when I work with clients is the onboarding. So I noticed a huge amount of feedback from clients that like your onboarding was so easy, so simple. And I'm not saying that you have to invest thousands of dollars into a system like Honeybook or Dubsado or anything like that, but I think that just having templates, email templates to send to new clients, a welcome template, a process where you've written down what to expect and things like that is, I think, really, really important. And it's impressive for you to be prepared with that information, so that way they feel like, oh, okay, this person has worked with a lot of freelancers before, and a lot of clients before. And I think that, yeah, so like a smooth onboarding is just, it's really good for first impression. That will make them want to refer you to their friends and things like that. They will not be as confused, and they'll know where to find information. Like if you have a client that they need specific, I don't know, it depends on what your industry is, right? If you're a photographer or if you're in the wedding industry, you're probably gonna have to have at least a little PDF of like general rules of like communication, the hours that you're operating, what other services, and what the project details are and things like that. Yeah, just like a really quick welcome guide or a simple kickoff call is really important for this onboarding, I would say. Something that I think everybody should take in consideration if you're a service-based business. Okay, so the second one is client check-ins and communications. When clients don't want to be ghosted, I'm a really big iffy on calls. I think some clients love calls and some clients do not. Who wants to add another, thing to their calendar? One second, I'm just drinking some water. But yeah, I think that a quick, consistent check-ins, communication, clients will ghost when they don't feel guided. I feel like, there's some clients that didn't respond to my emails. They didn't like answer like the important documentation that I needed in order to finish their project. So, for me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to continue your project if you're not going to give me the information that I need. And maybe for that client at that point in time, they were just really busy or they had personal things going on in their life, So I think that's something that you have to take consideration. But, consistent check-ins, communication, if they're not answering, then it's probably not a good client to begin with. Hopefully by then you'll have some sort of, contract in place, stipulating payment terms and things like that. I think that's really important. So something you should take in consideration. But yeah, I think just you can use an automated system. You can do just a simple system, make it super simple. Just send them, one email a week, like, hey, checking in, making sure you saw, my content calendar for you to review. Or if you're a photographer, like making sure that they saw the edits. Or if you're in the wedding industry, making sure that they saw your invoice, or blah, 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 right? Okay, so I think that is pretty easy. The other retention strategy is an intentional offboarding. I think that, having a quick call or a quick email, just discussing like that you really liked, being on their team, and, you hope that they had a good experience, and you would love to, offer them like you can offer them like a promo code, or a 10% off, like if they come back and they, you can say that in an email right away, or you can say that, a week or two after you've ended and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I think just it really depends on your industry, right? I think just having that intentional offboarding, depending if you're like a social media manager, you're gonna have to make sure that they get all their passwords and stuff like that. um, if you're a photographer, I think that once you've done the editing, you should definitely send them a post email like, I'm so glad that I got a chance to work with you. Please, feel free to refer me to anybody else that you might know, and things like that. I think it's just like a really good way to kind of like see what their perception is of you and things like that, because you can kind of tell, right? If the client is like really gung-ho about you and like super excited, then it's like really good, because that means that they're probably going to give you a really good referral. But if the client is just kind of like whatever, then that's probably not a good client to ask for like a referral, you know what I mean? So something to take in consideration. This is all like very nuanced, so if you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, just having like an email, you can make this a quick guide, that you can make in PDF and Canva. A testimonial request, you can add in there a small gift, or like a referral incentive, like a 10% off, like if they come back, or if they refer anybody, they get like a bonus or something like that. I think that's like, those are the biggest things. So a smooth onboarding, consistent check-ins, just like, communication, and intentional offboarding. I think those are like the top 3 things that I would recommend. And so I think a lot of people don't really have this in place. So if you are just that one business that can put this in place, like, let's say you work in a specific area, like let's say you're a social media manager, but you only work in Florida or something, or a photographer, you don't travel, right? Let's just say that you only work in LA. This can set you apart from other people that are in your area or in your industry and things like that. So just by setting up this really quick and easy, it will be really helpful to your clients, and it'll make them excited to want to refer you to their friends and family, or other businesses. But yeah, I think that this is just important to note that this did not require more marketing. This is more on like the client retention side. And going back to what I was saying, is I feel like more people think that they need more marketing, but I think they just need better systems that are more simple. So if you can optimize this process for your business, I think it's just going to make you stand out. It's going to make you well known, and just give them an overall, like, a happy experience. I feel like if you have ever done, like, hired a service-based business, I don't know, maybe you've gotten married and you've had to hire a photographer, and things like that. Or even if you've been to a restaurant and you didn't like the service, just think about that experience and like how you can optimize your business to get more retention, so that way you don't have to spend as much money or time in marketing. So that would be my best closing pitch to you. Is something that I do talk about with clients, but I don't talk about enough. Like, that's why I wanted to make this video about this. But I think, if you're realizing that your client journey has some gaps, that's exactly why I want to help in this, because I feel like I talk to a lot of marketing clients, but I don't really think that they need help in marketing. I think they need help on like, system side of like client retention and things like that. So I would love to introduce you to Client Success Reset. So if you want to get a roadmap of your customer journey, your client journey, in one-on-one, like you don't want to figure it out on your own, you can definitely check that out. I'm going to have the link below. I think it's really, really good for whether you're a new business or you've been in business for a while. Sometimes you just don't have time to look at it yourself and see what the gaps are. What if you just haven't updated your welcome template or your welcome email template, or what if you just haven't gone out of your way to ever ask for referrals? That could be a huge leak in your business where you can be making more and more money, right? So yeah, I think that, if you found this helpful, subscribe, make sure to follow me on Threads. I'm super active on there. I'll just make, videos once a week and things like that. But, yeah, I just really hope you found this helpful. But if you're looking for more of that, custom client journey where you just want somebody else to do it, definitely check out that, reset package that I have, and I think it's going to be really important whether you are a new business or you've already been in business for a while. For photographers, social media managers, web designers, brand designers, anybody who is in the service-based business, coaches, life coaches, health coaches. I know that a lot of you guys, you might think that you need more marketing, but you actually just need to work on your client systems, and that will be super beneficial for you, so you don't have to spend more time and money on marketing. With that being said, thank you so much, and talk to you soon.